What's going on, everybody? I know it's dark. It's dark, but it's Halloween. It's just a floating head. Just quick update. I mean, we're on our way to Georgia at the moment. The third load I had booked for the week delivers tomorrow, which is Monday. That'll finish up our week. Yeah, but the other videos talking about the Landstar thing. Luckily, a gentleman that I know knows another gentleman that used to run for Landstar. He had to come home for family medical. That's the reason he ended up leaving. But he had some good information, which was very helpful. The one thing, I'm not against driving here. Put it that way. Just plain and simple. It's not a bad deal altogether. The pluses are, like I said, you get to choose, the load you want to haul. You don't have to ask anybody permission to go home, when you want to go home. None of that. You dispatch yourself. That's picking the freight off the load board. So I mean, it's not a bad place. Really, it isn't. You are running contracted freight. It's a lot of it's the same customers all the time. That's what you're doing. You're picking from a pool of their customers as to what you want to run, and some are better than others. There's a few of them I've scratched off my list already that I won't be going back to, just because. We'll just say just because, and leave it at that. I will say one of them in particular is in Ohio, and I've been there with another company. Very small, in and out, and it's always backed up with trucks. And I mean, it's like you're trying to squeeze a lemon through a keyhole. And it's like that every time you go there. I went once with this company. It paid decent, not enough for me to go back and fight myself in and out of a parking lot to pick up a load. And it's always live load. They don't do any drop and hook there. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it's not a bad deal. But like I said, with freight being contracted between Schneider and customers, the rates aren't going to change a whole lot from what I've seen. I have seen a little movement here and there, but I think some of that is more the fuel surcharge part of things, rather than the rate actually changing, the actual amount that the customer's paying. Because fuel surcharge changes by the week, and when fuel goes up, surcharge goes up. When fuel goes down, surcharge goes down. But I mean, in talking to the gentleman that I got to talk to tonight, he had some good information. They do have more dedicated opportunities. They have coast to coast loads. So I mean, if you're, he said they've got. He ran more than his share of loads coast to coast, and they paid really well. When you're talking to someone, and he's talking about $3, $4, $5 a mile rates, versus here, I've seen some high rates. here and there. Majority of the high rates I see are what they call dummy loads, and not a lot of those ever become real or confirmed, as they called it. So, you can take it for what it is. The other thing I liked in speaking with this gentleman was the transparency. Here, you're only seeing what Schneider's saying. This is what you'll make. That's all you see. You don't see the total rate. You're only seeing what they're saying is left after their cut. So you don't know what the total original rate ever is. Again, I'm not saying that they're doing anything unscrupulous, but I would like to be able to see the total rate for the load, to know that I'm getting a fair shake. I'm sure if there's anything that I was doing that involves Schneider, actually, I can guarantee you they're not going to let me just show them what I want them to see. They're going to want to see the whole thing. Just makes sense. Their program's been run like this for a long time. I'm not here to change the world. I'm just saying transparency would be nice. But there at Landstar, you're seeing the total rate because you can negotiate that rate. You can actually call brokers and negotiate what they're offering. So say they're offering $1,000. You can actually call them up and try to get a little extra out of that, whether it be the actual rate for the load, or like he said, if they don't want to come up on the rate, sometimes you can get a little money thrown in for a little extra on the fuel surcharge, or something of that nature. That's good information to know, and that's the things you'd learn in a system like that. But I do like the that ability to try to optimize what you do. Again, it's another learning curve getting into that kind of a system, because now you're doing more. You're dealing more directly. You're dealing directly with brokers. But if your goal one day is to have your own authority, I think it's a good opportunity with a company that size, with the backing they have, to get more involved in that side, and that and prepare for another step. Here, get your feet wet. A lot of people like it here. They stay here a long time. I haven't looked officially at anybody's numbers, but I'm sure, with experience, learning the customer base better, I'm sure, guys are making what they say they make. Again, I'm new, and it has a lot to do with a lot of things. It's not an excuse, it's a fact. But I was looking at my numbers since I started, and granted, the first couple weeks, one being coming out of orientation, and the next week, really getting my feet wet on the whole load board thing. And then, of course, if you watch the videos, last month, took a couple hits as far as, the 1 week, I went home, what was supposed to be a day, turned into more than a day. Just couldn't find anything that was going anywhere that would do me good, without deadheading crazy miles to get out of where I was at. Again, Memphis, you'd think there'd be more. You just think there'd be more. It's just not a lot comes out of there that it's either heavy and don't pay well, or it pays well and it goes to a dead area where, again, you're having the same problem that you're having, starting out, is trying to find something to get you out of that area. I have noticed there's a lot of that here. They have freight that pays really good, but it goes to an area that there's just nothing. There's just nothing, or what's coming out of there pays squat, and it's heavy as hell. And a lot of those areas are in the hills on the East Coast, and not paying well, heavy as hell, climbing hills. It's not a good combination for me. But my 15 week, I'm not going to count this week's revenue yet because I haven't finished this load. I probably should wait and do it all for 16 week, which would be the 4-month mark. But yeah, my total revenue at 15 weeks is $44,239 and 47 cents. Now, if you break that down to a weekly average, my weekly average gross revenue to the truck, $29.49 and 30 cents. That's gross. That's not before bills are paid. July wasn't the greatest, just because the first couple weeks out, you're just getting started. You're not, obviously maximizing what you could. You're getting used to, doing a lot of things that were done for you as a company driver. And, again, last month, I had the week where, it seemed like every load I booked, they said it canceled, or the pickup date got pushed back or whatever. So I had 2 weeks in that month that didn't go so well either. But yeah, so I don't think overall that's bad starting out. I listened to a video today of a guy who's been with Schneider for 3 years now, running in their IC program. And I mean, his quarterly revenue, he said, was around $54,000. After 3 years, I would think that would be accurate. But after 4 months, going on 4 months, I don't think that's too bad. Could be a lot worse. But again, looking at the comparison between what I know here, which is, not everything, that's for sure, and what I'm finding out from, say, a Landstar. The other thing I can say is, here you have a business advisor, they call them. They don't really advise you on your business. They're there doing the same things that a dispatcher would do if you needed them to. If something goes wrong with the load, if you have information missing from the load information, like a number that you got to have, things to that nature. If a load cancels on you and you have loads booked behind that, obviously now those, you can't get to those loads unless you can find something else to take up the load that canceled. You'd call them and say, hey, I need you to remove blah blah blah, and then basically start over, which I've had to do that. I've learned that lesson. It's not a good lesson to learn. You don't want to learn it. It can make things go bad, and bad quick. But I do know, like, Landstar is they're more involved in your success. They do have requirements. If I remember right, I don't know how long it is. I don't know if it's a 1, 2, 3 day deal, but they want, you have to take like a business seminar course thing through them, which is not a bad thing. You get a lot of guys, and I think a lot of guys fail probably in even this program because they come in, their expectations may be a little higher than they need to be or should be at that point, and you're coming in here, whether if you're bringing a truck or you're financing a truck through SFI, however it works out, you come in here and you do your 3-4 day orientation, you jump in the truck, you log on to the load board, and there you go. And there's not a lot of business support for guys that have never done it. I've owned a business before, so I mean this is a different version of that. I mean it comes down to numbers as usual. You got to make X amount to pay X amount, and if you're not making X amount and not paying X amount, you're not in business very long. It's the same with this. It's about controlling costs and making, maximizing your profit. And again, if you're going to come into this thinking that right out the gate you're going to work 5 days a week and be home every weekend, you might be fooling yourself a little bit. Most of the time, I go home about every week, but usually it's a day and a half, 34-hour reset, and then going at it again. I am not comfortable enough unless it just ends up like that one week where just couldn't find anything and just got stuck. It just not going to happen that way. And if you come in here with the expectation that you're going to do very little and make money at it, that's not a good expectation to have either. I have to have time to sit down and do that. But I haven't done my average cents per mile for the month. I hear a lot of guys, seems to be $1.70 seems to be the magic number for everybody. I don't think my numbers been there since I've been here. I haven't seen enough freight over $1.70 a mile, period. Now if I went out east, if I was willing to go to the East Coast, yeah, a lot of those loads pay over $1.70 a mile. I'm not going east. But yeah, I want to do that, get that number together. Again, my break-even point is extremely low because, granted, the costs on the truck and the fuel are one thing, but when you add everything together, including home expenses, as far as personal bills, my total costs are not as high as I imagine some people can be. If you got a $1,200 a month mortgage, that makes a big difference. And not to say you can't do this and still have the whole goal in doing this is to be able to do that. So if you're in a program, any program, I don't care who it is, and taking on a mortgage payment is more than you can do, you might be doing it wrong. You might want to think about doing something else. because the whole point of doing this is not just for the freedom of deciding your own loads. It's also to do better than you did driving someone else's truck, getting paid, CPM. But yeah, I just thought I'd do a quick video. Again, seriously considering it, but I'm taking my time. I am taking my time making that decision. Again, I want to get a good look at where this economy is going, because right now, everybody I talk to, no matter what company they're running for, loads are not as plentiful as you think they would be, considering it's the 20th of October. We have a month before holiday shopping, really gets going, and you would think freight would be more plentiful at this point as these stores get ready for, the season. Again, it's looking like it's going to be a soft. I think companies are preparing for a soft holiday season as far as sales go. I just have that feeling, and from everything I'm reading and hearing, I'm thinking a lot of companies are thinking the same thing. It's just not going to be a gangbuster year like in past years. So, keep thinking about it. Keep thinking about it. Keep thinking about it. When something changes, I'll let you know. But as always, I appreciate you guys taking time. Be safe. We'll talk to you.